Morning to all our viewers. You're watching the CricketNext YouTube channel. I would have said good morning, but there's nothing good about this morning. We are talking about India versus Australia, fourth test of the ongoing Border Gavaskar Trophy. The Boxing Day test, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of hype for the match. The Indian fans, there were many fans. We did a live at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. There were many fans who joined us, who sent their questions. They were excited. They discussed the playing 11 and everything. But 2 hours still from that live till now, इंडियन फैंस की जो एक्साइटमेंट थी वो सब नीचे हो गई है क्योंकि एक 19 साल का डेब्यूटेंट एक यंगस्टर ने आकर he has rattled India. India was all over the place. They had no answers to Sam Konstas, a 19-year-old debutant playing his first game, a Boxing Day test in front of a fully packed Melbourne cricket ground, one of the most iconic grounds around the world. वहां पे आकर जिस तरीके की इनिंग सैम कॉन्स्टेंस ने खेली और जो शॉट्स खेले हैं social media is filled with his name. He's being praised, and not just by the Australian fans but also by the Indian fans. They are praising Sam for his brilliant innings. लंच हो गया है. लंच पे the score, India, this is not a good score. If you're an Indian fan, this is not a good score. Australia 112 at the loss of just one wicket in 25 overs. There's a lot to talk about. I have with me Jamie Alter and Harshit Mist, and we are going to talk about whatever happened in the last 2 hours. I don't know how to sum it up. Jamie, morning to you. Please try and help me summarize what happened in the last 2 hours. And Sam Constance, what a brilliant find for Australia.
Bilkul, morning guys. Yeah, look, this is just you've not. Yes, you've seen him and you played a ping ball tour match against him, but you don't know कि what ये बंदा actually क्या कर सकता है, right? Beat हुए, दो तीन reverse shot मारे, beat हुए, लोग बोलने लगे. But this just goes back to what Pat Cummins said na, in the press conference. कि I told the guy तू ऐसा खेल जैसे तू बचपन में अपने backyard में खेलता था. He's like you're a teenager. You're not even you haven't even hit your peak as a human being yet. तो ज्यादा सोच मत और वैसे ही खेलो. और उसके बाद क्या ही बोले, मतलब बुमराह को 34 रन्स मारे पहले स्पेल में. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम बुमराह एवर कंसीडर्ड दैट मेनी रन्स इन अ फर्स्ट स्पेल. और सारे रन इस 19 साल के लड़के के बल्ले से आए. रिवर्स स्कूपिंग हिम, आई डोंट नो, इज इट रिवर्स स्कूप, रिवर्स व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू कॉल इट. इस पूरे सीरीज में लोग सीधे बल्ले से नहीं खेल पाए बुमराह को. And this kid is playing shots like this. So, like we discussed yesterday in the preview show, Australia does not hand out debut caps to teenagers. मतलब पिछले बार पैट कमिंस 3 मैच खेल चुके थे. 2011 की बात है ये. तो अगर 12, 13, 14 साल में ये एक बार हो रहा है, it just says how rare this is. And like we discussed yesterday, to my mind at least, this is the shifting of the guard. Australian cricket is starting to fall behind in some ways, and they're realizing कि boss और देश ऐसे 19-20 साल के लड़के को फेंक रहे हैं. हम इंडियंस तो सालों से करते आ रहे हैं. खेल ले भाई, खेल ले. पाकिस्तान has done this, Sri Lanka has done this. England is not so regular, but they've also thrown in youngsters. I think Sam Curran was 18 when he first played India. He was man of the series. So there's enough evidence for Australia to realize, why should we be backing people who are 37, 38? Why should we go the Mike Hussey way? Those days are gone. Mike Hussey had to wait till 30 to get his chance. वो दिन गए. अगर लड़के ने 7-8 फर्स्ट क्लास मैच में आपको कुछ ऐसा दिखाया कि हाँ ये खेल सकता है. This guy was being called the next Ricky Ponting like 6 months ago. And I'm very, very glad to say the hype is real, because Australian cricket, if it wants to stay on top, it has to take some bold calls. अब उस्मान ख्वाजा ने रन मार तो लिए. First time he's not gotten out in a session. But is Usman Khawaja your future? Absolutely not. So let's hope that they go back to McSweeney. Let's hope that Cam Green comes back. Because it's good for world cricket if Australia stays dominant. And to my mind, the key to staying dominant is taking risks with these kind of players.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone with a new mindset, with a very fresh mindset. Harshit, we've been watching the match together since morning. Your thoughts on this guy on your screen, Sam Konstas, the way he played in the last 2 hours, the way he rattled Team India. Your thoughts on his performance?
I mean, it takes a lot of guts to play shots like that he did against a player like Bumrah, the kind of form he is in, and he has done phenomenally well. I mean, he took his time. The main thing that he did was he took his time. He was played 2 maiden overs. He just was analyzing how the ball is coming to the. He was, feeling that he took his time, and after that, once he was comfortable, he started playing his shot. And when he was playing his shot, he was fully confident. I mean, playing literally these kind of ram shots against somebody like Bumrah, hitting for a six, not once but twice, and then scoring boundaries for fun. So it takes a lot of guts, and also it takes a lot of confidence. And Sam Konstas looked a very confident guy today. So yeah, it's a very good sign for the Australian team. It's a very good sign for the series as well, because now, apart from Travis Head in the middle order, you have a guy who's can pose questions for you at the top as well. So it's gonna be really interesting to watch out how he fares in the series. And for India, I mean, it's a point of concern that if Bumrah is not like the way the Bumrah was, getting smacked by this guy. What is the plan B? I mean, you had to wait till the 19th or till Jadeja, somebody like a Jadeja is coming in, and you were not really confident about Jadeja coming and getting you a wicket. It is just that he got a wicket, and he actually Jadeja was the only bowler in the first session who actually troubled Sam Konstas to a bit of extent, right? So, I mean, problems for India, but yeah, good signs for the series. I mean, looking at the youngster who's just 19 years old, playing Bumrah, and he has given the confidence to a lot of other Australian batters as well. That you don't need to actually fear Bumrah. You can actually play if you're be confident. If you're playing a natural game, you can counter Bumrah, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamie, it's one thing you are smashing ballers left, right, and center, and then smashing Bumrah is a different thing altogether. We have been comparing Bumrah to the greats of the game, greatest fast bowlers that the game has ever seen. Before this match, we still rate him very high. He's Jasprit Bumrah. One innings won't change that. But smashing someone like Jasprit Bumrah, 19-year-old debutant playing his first test at the MCG, boxing their test. What is it? Does he have better skills than all the other batters, or is it just pure mindset from Sam?
Both. No, this is why people were saying, 2 months ago, this guy should start to play the first test. But the selector said, know what, he's 19. Let's go for Nathan McSweeney. Hindsight, mein aap keh sakte ho, yes, this guy should have started in Perth because there's no baggage. But again, we don't know how he would have fared there. Let's accept the fact that we discussed yesterday के show पे कि भाई this is the easiest batting track और यहाँ से और भी आसान होने वाला है. And like I said yesterday, this is going to work for Australia as well. इनकी batting बहुत खराब थी, but on the easiest batting day, and let's face it, there's nothing in this track. This is going to get better. These guys are on course for 500, 525 if everything goes their way. There's nothing in this track. Okay. So this is the easiest thing. I don't think Sam Konstas would have been able to do this on day one at Perth. Yes, it takes daring. Yes, it takes a free mind. It takes your captain to come out and say, "To khel le yaar, we have you." This is what not too many Indian fans understand about baseball. They think baseball is just go hit. No, baseball is telling the guy, we will not drop you if you fail. Right? And when you're 19 years old, when you're being called the next Ricky Ponting, and when you're given your captain is saying, "Tu jaake apna game khel." Socho, yeah. So it just comes down to the belief. And let's face it, yeah, these kind of players come after a long. एक Michael Clark 2003-4 में आया था. उसके बाद we've not seen any young Australian batsman with that kind of hype. तो अगर 20 साल के बाद ऐसा hype है, that does mean that he's better than Khwaja in theory. He's better than Nathan McSweeney, better than Chris Rogers. Pick all the openers who've who've come along in the last 20 years. None have come into the team after playing 12 first-class matches. None have walked in with comparisons to Ricky Ponting, and none have walked in at this young age with so much potential. Will he fail? Of course, it's very obvious. Like Harshit mentioned, he has a problem against left arm spin. But all said and done, he got 60 at a strike rate of about 100. He looked very confident. जैसे उसने बैट उठाया जब 50 हुआ लगा भाई ये तो 150 से कम नहीं सोच रहा है. So very good. Yes, for this series, like we discussed. But for me, it's very good for Australian cricket. हाँ वो थोड़ा दुख तो है कि भाई इसने बुमराह को मारा फिलाना. Team is really behind. 112 for one. Terrible session for India. But for world cricket, you need these youngsters coming in. These kind of players, to my mind, Pranav and Harshit, will shut up all those who say कि Test cricket is dead. It's not dead. It's very healthy. हाँ कम लोग देख रहे हैं. But this is one of the most even phases of Test cricket. You've seen Bangladesh can go and beat certain teams. You've seen there's just so much to actually like about these young players coming in, and let's hope कि ऐसे और भी आए. इंग्लैंड से आए, पाकिस्तान से आए, बांग्लादेश से आए. हमारे यहाँ तो है ही बहुत. जायसवाल के बाद तो लाइन लगी है young batsmen की. But if you want the game to stay relevant, to stay vibrant, let's hope कि ऐसे बहुत सारे Sam Konstas आ जाए.
And I love the way after getting out, it's not that he sat in the dressing room. He came out. He was giving autograph to the fans. He was clicking selfies with the fans midway through the game. Oh, abhi out हुए हैं, वापिस जाए, put off his pads, his gloves, his kit, changed into the practice gear, came out, selfies with the kids, autographs to the kids, interacting with the fans. I love how he's selling himself as a brand. And this is the attitude that he brings on the field as well. That I don't care. ड्रिंक्स ब्रेक में देयर वाज अ मिड ब्रेक अपेरेंटली, ये कैसे होता है क्यों होता है आई डोंट नो, बट अ मिड ड्रिंक्स ब्रेक इंटरव्यू जो सैम कॉन्स्टेंस का हुआ, उनसे पूछा गया कि जो जो स्लेजिंग हो रही है इसके बारे में आपका क्या कहना है, विराट कोहली और जो सबने किया. He says whatever happens on the field happens on the field, it stays on the field. I'm loving it in front of a packed stadium here. तो mentality बताता है यार, he doesn't care. He's not afraid of anything. And hopefully for the Australian fans, for the Australian team, this guy goes on to play a lot of test matches and continues to play this brilliantly. But now coming to the Indian bowling, Harshit, हमने ये तो देख लिया सैम ने क्या ठीक किया, क्या कितना अच्छा खेला. आपने प्लान बी की बात की थी, इंडिया ने कहाँ पे चूक करी, एंड डू यू थिंक this is the first time we have seen Jasprit Bumrah being rattled in a test match. यार रिवर्स स्वीप के छक्के पड़ रहे हैं, रिवर्स स्वीप या जो भी कहेंगे आप उसको, उसके छक्के पड़ रहे हैं, एक ओवर में 20-20 30-30 रन पड़ रहे हैं. डू थिंक इंडिया पैनिक्ड वे टू सून? और इंडिया का तो मैं तो बहुत सालों से देख रहा हूँ, दो छक्के पड़ते हैं लाइनर लेंथ बिगड़ जाती है. सिराज की तो सही लाइनर लेंथ गिरती नहीं है, वो तो बात ही अलग है, पर बुमराह भी, आकाशदीप भी लाइनर लेंथ बिगड़ जाती है. योर थॉट्स ऑन इंडियन बॉलिंग इन दिस सेशन?
I mean, Indian bowling, it was nothing to praise about Indian bowling in the first session. I mean, first of all, it was a surprise कि Bumrah और Siraj ने open किया. Like we were discussing in the morning session कि आकाशदीप को करना चाहिए. But भाई ये Indian team का management एक side pattern है, हम भाई ऐसे ही करते हैं, हम ऐसे ही करेंगे. And then you go, bowling Siraj का first spell जो था 7 overs का था, सारे first overs पहले में डाले. Bumrah 6 overs, 13 overs तक आपका bowling, first bowling change आया आपका 13th over में आकाशदीप. एंड देन सिंस आकाशदीप वाज इंट्रोड्यूस, थोड़ा सा फिर भी थोड़े से रन्स का जो रन्स लीक कर रहे थे उस पर थोड़ा कंट्रोल आया. तो फॉर आई मीन बुमराह का फॉर्म मतलब ये दिखाता है इंडियन टीम के वो कि ना बुमराह का फॉर्म इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड बुमराह के पास आपके अलावा, बुमराह के अलावा आपके पास एक्चुअली कोई ऐसे बॉलर्स हैं नहीं जो अपोजिशन टीम को अंडर प्रेशर कर सकते हैं. आकाशदीप हैज शोन सम पोटेंशियल, बट आकाशदीप को आप तब इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो जब तक ऑलरेडी 13 ओवर में 70 रन बन चुके हैं. ठीक है, तो वो वाला जो एक थोड़ा सा कैप्टेंसी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी थोड़ा सा एक क्वेश्चन वाला डिसीजन था कि क्या इतना जरूर, क्या इतना होल्ड करने की नीड थी, बिकॉज वंस यू डू स्ट्राइक बॉलर्स उतना कुछ ज्यादा हेल्प नहीं कर रहा था. सैम कॉन्स्टस बहुत इजीली स्टेप डाउन करके मार रहा था और बाउंड्रीज फॉर फन. तो वो चीज़ है, थोड़ा सा डिसअपॉइंटिंग परफॉर्मेंस था. ऐसा मतलब हमें मतलब बुमराह से तो मतलब किसी को भी एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था कि शायद ऐसा होगा, बट लेट्स होप कि एक वन ऑफ सेशन था. In the next session he will bounce back. And last 2 ओवर में तो उसने फिलहाल 3 ही रन दिए, बट 6 ओवर में 38 रन कंसीड करना एंड गेटिंग 34 रन स्नैग्ड बाय एन यंगस्टर डेब्यूटेंट was something that was beyond imagination. And not really something to Indian team management will be pleased with the performance by the team in the first session. I mean, apart from the bowlers, there was few incidences, others like we'll discuss about it, but disappointing, totally disappointing performance.
एब्सोल्युटली. एंड जेमी, हम बुमराह भरोसे ही चलते हैं, हमारे और कोई नहीं है. देखिए जसप्रीत बुमराह है हमारे पास. वी हैव बीन डिस्कसिंग दिस फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम नाउ. ही डजंट गेट सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द अदर एंड. आकाशदीप टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट, yes he does, but when Jasprit Bumrah goes for runs and a lot of runs, that's something we have not seen. उन्होंने पिछले कितने 25 टेस्ट मैच से छक्का नहीं खाया था, और इस मैच में तो ऐसे लग रहा था हर तीसरी बॉल पे वो खा सकते हैं, इतना अच्छा सैम कॉन्स्टेंस खेल रहे थे. बट व्हेन जसप्रीत बुमराह गोज फॉर रन्स, India panics. It was very clear they panicked. They had no answers what to do. They had no plan B. Your thoughts on Indian bowling in the first session and where they exactly went wrong with the ball in hand? Runs हर टीम को पड़ते हैं यार, बट अगर इंडिया को रन पड़ते हैं वो लगातार फिर रन्स खाते जाते हैं. क्या है इंडिया में ऐसा कि वो दे कांट रिकवर when they go through a bad start in the first half an hour?
No, you're right. We've not seen Jasprit Bumrah been manhandled like this. और जब एक 19 साल का लड़का जो पहली बार टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेल रहा है, it just sort of makes you say, wow, can this actually be done to Bumrah? It's not been done yet, but a 19-year-old can do this. Okay, very, very good batting conditions, nothing in the pitch, but are other teams going to start to take a cue? Will will Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley now start to do this? So who knows what Sam Konstas has done. एक ही innings है, दूर की बात है. He will struggle. He'll have some bad times. बहुत बार मुझे याद है फिल ह्यूज आए थे तो एक मैच में he had 200s, but then he went to England and he couldn't score runs. He was dropped. Many Australian players have had sensational starts and not gone on. So who knows? But right now, when you talk about panic, I mean, this team has panicked even when Bumrah has taken 3 wickets in a spell, and it hasn't happened. Mohammed Siraj, erratic. I didn't think he'd be playing this test match. What happened, Kanab? Harshit, you guys saw the moment the guy opened his mouth and started to pass comments. Next over, this guy was scooping Jasprit Bumrah for 6. I just say it again: shut your mouth and let the ball do the talking. Shut your mouth and let the bat do the talking. So you talk about panic. This, to my mind, this is the panic. बुमराह पिट गए मैं कुछ बोलूंगा भाई क्यों you guys have been watching since 5 o'clock. I've been watching. जब तक सिराज ने अपना मुंह बंद रखा सब ठीक था. The guy was being beaten. Literally 2 balls after he said that, the guy started to take on Jasprit Bumrah. Kyun? Why do you have to do this needling? Right? So it's just that. I am a huge fan of Akash Deep. Nobody should be surprised watching this show that his economy is half less than any other bowler. वो कंट्रोल फैक्टर जो हम पर्थ मैच से पहले से बात कर रहे हैं, यदि आपको कंट्रोल चाहिए तो आपको आकाशदीप खिलाना पड़ेगा. Akashdeep will never take 4 wickets in a spell like Bumrah or a Siraj unless it's a green top. But what he gives you is control. And I just look back at these figures and I look at all the figures he's had. This guy should have been playing from the first, because when you have a Siraj, when you have an Ravindra Jadeja who's been here and there, he got a wicket, but he bowled some hit me balls to Labuschagne and Usman Khawaja. If you're prone to panicking, you need to pack your team with bowlers who don't panic. मेरे हिसाब से more than anybody else. Even look, Bumrah was hit, but Bumrah himself didn't panic. He pulled his jersey, he smiled, ठीक है होगा, because he knows ये दोबारा नहीं होगा. But बाकी bowlers को देखकर वो confidence नहीं आता ना. So right now, and especially आज के session के बाद, and let's hope some wickets fall. I too have almost given up hope of more than 3-4 wickets falling, because this is a dead batting track. But when you're prone to panicking, if Bumrah has an average or off spell, you need to pack your team with bowlers who don't panic. And to me, Mohammed Siraj panics at the slight loss of line or length. So I am very, very, once again, not surprised, but very, very disappointed by Mohammed Siraj yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with Harshit कि यार आप सिराज एक तो खिला क्यों रहे हो, और खिला रहे हो तो why don't you open with Akashdeep instead of Mohammed Siraj? With the new ball, Akashdeep can do way more damage than Mohammed Siraj. But Jamie, you talked about the aggression sort of what Indian team showed in the beginning. Mohammed Siraj sharing some words with Sam Konstas, उसके बाद हर direction में चौके छक्के उन्होंने खाए हैं. But एक और incident हुआ. I want to take hear what are your thoughts on this. विराट कोहली पिच के दूसरी कोने में है, एकदम बिल्कुल चल के आते हैं. सैम कॉन्स्टेंस से ऐसे अपना पूरा शोल्डर वो करते हैं, मुड़ते हैं, and they have a chat. Is it needed? It's a 19-year-old kid in front of a packed MCG crowd on a Boxing Day test on his debut is hitting Jasprit Bumrah and your other bowlers all over the park for 6 boundaries, and then out of the blue you are one of the most experienced player on the park, a big name. Sam has said that I look up to Virat Kohli. He's the most famous person I have met. Was this needed by Virat Kohli?
It's not needed, and we've discussed this to death. Case not needed. But again, Virat Kohli probably when he was young, he probably woke up in early Delhi winter mornings to watch test matches in Australia, where young Indian players, maybe not debutants, but young Indian players were probably sledged off. I don't recall. I mean, this is very clear. Ball liya, he changed his trajectory.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli knows कि वो जो 38 cameras हैं वो कहाँ पे है. He knows that very well. And he knows that of the 38, probably 37 are on him. So it was very deliberate. But it's not needed, because Sam Konstas, uske baad bhi he started to hit you. In fact, his strike rate went from about 90 to 100 almost after that. There you go. See this comment. Ravi Shankar has it. So again, if doing this to a 19-year-old who's just smacked Jasprit Bumrah, if doing that translates into a match-winning 100 from Virat Kohli, I'll say wow. But if Virat Kohli nicks off again, outside off, you know where the loudest laugh from NCR will come from, kind of.
Yeah. And I was on social media and fans were saying he's even nicking off blokes now, finding an edge. of people's shoulder, and that is something that the social media is laughing about. But Harshit, your thoughts on this? Is it needed when your team is not doing good, yaar? And ठीक है, a certain section of fans are justifying यार it's bought a Gavaskar trophy. It is a way to intimidate a youngster who's doing good on the crease. But to come close to a youngster, getting physical contact with the youngster, with a player of the opposition, do you think it's needed by someone like Virat Kohli or any other player for that matter from the Indian team?
No, not at all. I mean, not even Virat Kohli, not at any player, and not even to a debutant, to any player. I mean, that's not required. I mean, you're there in the field to deliver with your performances. What's the point of all these things? I mean, he is a guy who was playing his first Test match, and you're going charging upon him like this, and the entire talk about it was about this only. Then, I mean, that was something that I was not expecting this from Virat actually. I mean, for me, that was very surprising. And after that, like we mentioned, and like one of the comment also came in, after that he got charged up. So you don't need to give chances to players to get charged up and, let them be like, now I'll show you. You don't have to do this. And that was totally unwanted. Totally, it was something I would say as a symbolic thing. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, you should not do that even.
Absolutely, when Sports Rumble is saying Kohli very well knew what he was doing. Konstas just did not budge and replied with the bat to Kohli. Absolutely, with the bat, as Ravi Shankar also said, after that, 33 runs in 27 balls. And this is the fact that we are discussing is just because it's all over on social media. The fans divided. Ricky Ponting very categorically explained कि विराट कोहली ने पूरा क्रॉस किया है पिच को, स्पेशली जाके he started all this whatever happened between the two. कहाँ पे है वो लाइन, कहाँ ड्रॉ होती है, इसकी भी बहुत डिस्कशन चल रही है. एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर दिस विल गो ऑन फॉर द नेक्स्ट फ्यू डेज एटलीस्ट, ये जो ये इंसिडेंट हुआ है. बट जेमी, you were not there in the morning live. We discussed the playing 11. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the playing 11. Shubman Gill dropped from the playing 11. Washington Sundar playing in place of him. Your thoughts on that? उसके बाद मैं बैटिंग ऑर्डर पे आऊंगा, वो तो मेरा पर्सनल फेवरेट टॉपिक है आज के लिए. पर शुभमन गिल ड्रॉप्ड.
Exactly what I said yesterday. Na? If Shubman Gill is not batting at 3, he doesn't get into the 11. So वही हुआ जो हमने कल discuss किया. Whichever second spinner plays, he's not going to bowl more than 5 overs per day, and you're playing that second spinner because he lengthens your batting. And frankly, जितना भी हमने कम देखा है वॉशिंगटन सुंदर, एक ही मैच खेले इससे पहले इस सीरीज में, his batting did inspire a bit more confidence. So yes, surprised that they lost faith in Shubman Gill so soon. But exactly like I said yesterday, if he's not batting at 3, they're dropping him and they're playing second all rounder. So not so from that aspect, exactly what we discussed yesterday.
But if Shubman Gill is not performing, he's getting dropped. Mohammed Siraj is not performing. Why is he still playing?
Proximity to Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli is not the captain.
But he's the most influential player.
So that means
that's why 38 cameras are on. Yeah. You don't see Rohit Sharma doing all this. Na? Rohit Sharma looks lost. Who's getting the team pumped up? Who's getting the thing? Virat Kohli. If Virat Kohli were not there, Mohammed Siraj wouldn't be in the squad.
That's actually a very interesting point. I mean, the fact that this is happening, that this obviously says a lot about Virat Kohli, but also about Rohit Sharma and Gautam Gambhir. That what's the point of being a captain and a coach if you don't have a say in the playing 11? And Rohit Sharma, the captain, is a different topic altogether. That's a different thing. But batting order. Maybe I wanted to talk about the batting order. Rohit Sharma confirms I'll be opening in this test match. So Perth he missed the test match. Fair enough. Pink ball test Adelaide में pink ball है तो I'll bat in the middle order. Brisbane is a tough pitch. I'll bat in the middle order. We see a batting friendly, a cute belter highway at the MCG. Rohit Sharma out of the blue decides now I'll open. Is it fair on KL Rahul? I don't want to talk about Rohit Sharma because it's convenient for him, but for KL Rahul, is it unfair?
Yeah, it's unfair because he's been pushed back into a role which he knows very, very well. But and again, I don't think the fans understand this enough. जब केएल राहुल को दोबारा रिकॉल किया गया पिछले 3 बार और हर बार इस बार को छोड़ के unfortunately he got injured and his injuries are long. He's out for 4, 5, 6 months. Each time that KL Rahul has been called back, the last 3 times, he's not been called back as an opener because they've all come since Rohit Sharma became your default opener. अब रोहित शर्मा के ओपनिंग पार्टनर्स तो चेंज होते रहे, But KL Rahul has each time been called back as a middle order role. One time Mayank Agarwal gets injured, one time Shubman Gill gets injured, one time Rohit's not around. So he gets bumped up to where he, in theory, should be batting. Okay, banda specialist opener hai, age group level se. वो number 5 या 6 batsman नहीं है. But against the odds, and I'll say it again, I was very, very vocal on Cricket Next YouTube channel saying कि यार 20 की औसत से ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया में खेलते आ रहे हैं, इनका जो 100 था 10 साल हो गए. I wish him luck. Now he's gone beyond my expectations. He's gone beyond many fans' expectations. Why do you want to shuffle the one thing which is working? Am I against him going back as an opener? Yes, in hindsight. But now that he's doing the job, ये आपके टीम के सबसे सफल बल्लेबाज हैं इस सीरीज में. He's faced the most number of deliveries. He's blunted the new ball attack probably 75 to 80% of the time. Now you've got a walking wicket. Chalo, this is a Pata wicket. For all we know, Rohit Sharma will score his final Test 100 of his career and will have a lot to remember. But if it doesn't work out and he gets out early, or even if Jaiswal gets out early, you're having a guy who's just had to recalibrate his entire क्या बोलूं मैं, test planning, test preparation to face the new ball. And if he comes in the fourth over, you're still facing the new ball. What if he comes in the 25th, 23rd, 26th over? If they go that far and he fails, then you've lost the one guy who's actually in some good mental space. And why am I saying mental space? Because विराट कोहली को लेकर हम तो 2-3 साल से बात, sorry, केएल राहुल को लेकर बात कर रहे हैं. It always seems like more than technique, more than confidence. It's something about his mental makeup doesn't quite inspire confidence. बहुत साल के बाद वो लग रहा है कि हाँ मैं एक टेस्ट प्लेयर हूँ. Look at the shots he's playing. The drives have come back. The pull shots have now come. तो खुदा ना खास्ता उस minor, I'm using minor because it's just one. It seems on paper one spot down. But sometimes being moved out of your comfort zone can have an adverse effect on the best of players. And someone who's got so much talent, but who often seems to get disrupted by small choices, be it giving him captaincy in Bangladesh, be it giving him captaincy in South Africa, or changing his role. I just fear you might lose that spark with which we've seen KL Rahul bat with. Baki, if Rohit gets out, nobody will be surprised. And if he score runs, it'll make it seem like you said, अच्छा अब तो पाटा wicket है, अब मैं खेलने आऊंगा. So it's just a very, very tough situation for for Rohit Sharma the batsman and Rohit Sharma the captain. And I think if he fails here, this will be the last time we see Rohit Sharma play for India.
It should be either ways, but do you think we have, or the Indian team has taken KL Rahul for granted? It's okay. He can play it at every position, opening number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7 in different formats. But उसी का फायदा भी उठाया जाता है कि we take it for granted because एक player settle हो रहा है एक position में, उसको पता है यार चलो opening मेरे को मिल गई है, at least this series I'll open. Then out of nowhere उनको कहा जाता है नहीं अब आप number 3 खेलेंगे. Do you think KL Rahul is being taken for granted by the Indian team?
It looks that way, no? Because I go back to Gautam Gambhir's pre-departure press conference when he said कि it's a luxury to have someone like KL. He can bat 5, he can bat 6, he can bat in the top 3. ठीक है. At that point, I was like, yeah, again, is he going to open? We didn't know whether Rohit would show up there or not. We didn't know कि Gill would have a terrible series, whether Gill would get a heart टूटा या fracture. जो भी था, he didn't play in Perth. Before all these probables came into play, we wondered, yeah, okay, maybe it's a makeshift job. But KL Rahul has done the job. He's been fairly impressive. I think he only has 2 failures. And by failures, I mean really bad failures in a low-scoring series. Baki, he's got a couple. I think he got a 37 one innings in Adelaide. 37 in a low-scoring match is good because nobody else got a 50 in that match. So yeah, I just feel bad for him that he's been shuffled again. And I hope for his sake, more than India's sake, he actually does well. Because if you assume, like I'm assuming here, कि अगले जुलाई में जब नया WTC साइकिल शुरू होगा उस 5 मैच की श्रृंखला में इंडिया वर्सेस इंग्लैंड and KL Rahul is around like he should be and Rohit Sharma is not, they'll probably say KL, you opened in England, you have got runs here, you got a match winning 100, you got a couple 70-80s, let's just open with you again. And I think very reluctantly I would have to say I would want to see him now that you've gone back for whatever reason, maybe just back him for those 5 test matches. Are you going to go to Abhimanyu Ishwaran all of a sudden? I don't think it's going to happen. Are there any young openers coming around? I don't see it happening. You're probably better off batting Gill in the middle order, probably hoping that some other player comes back. So yeah, Is he underestimated? Is he overused? Is he taken for granted? Absolutely. But I think it's a good problem to have. You'd rather have that option than, like Gambhir said, not have it.
Absolutely, it's a good problem to have, but then again, from thinking from a player's point of view, it's tough to not have a fixed position in any team in any format. Harshit, now we talked about Australia's first session, 112 at the loss of 1 wicket in 25 overs. Um, Too soon to say maybe, but do you think the match is going out of India's hands now? एक सेशन पहले दिन के पहले सेशन के बाद कहना बहुत जल्दी हो जाता है, लेकिन do you think India is losing their grip on this match now?
नहीं नहीं यार, इट्स टू अर्ली टू से दैट द मैच इज ओवर. आई मीन एक सेशन हुआ है, लेट द डे एंड्स एंड सी वेयर द सिचुएशन इज, बिकॉज ऑस्ट्रेलिया का बैटिंग लाइनअप यार इतना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं देता है. जिसने आके रन बनाए हैं वो पहला मैच खेल रहा था. जो अभी तक खेल रहे हैं उन्होंने कुछ खास करा नहीं एक्सेप्ट फॉर ट्रेविस हेड. आई मीन
Yeah,
इज येट टू कम. स्टीव स्मिथ ने लास्ट मैच में सेंचुरी बनाया है, बट उसके अलावा 6 इनिंग्स में एक सेंचुरी,
yeah,
राइट. 5 फ्लॉप्स था. तो ये कहना बहुत जल्दी हो जाएगा दैट ऑस्ट्रेलिया इज वे अहेड इन दिस मैच एंड इंडिया इज इन टोटली इन बैकफुट. एक सेशन या टेस्ट मैचेस जितने अभी तक सीरीज हुई, जितना हमने सीरीज देखा है, सेशंस में मैचेस चेंज हुए हैं. So it's too early to say कि India's test match से बाहर है. I mean things can change, but things will only change if a bunch of players will combine and come up and perform. Right? Bumrah alone can't do the job, or a Akash or a Siraj. You have to hunt in pair. At least 2-3 bowlers have to step up if they are going
yeah,
to do that. जैसे हमने ब्रिस्बेन के सेकंड इनिंग्स में किया था, जब बुमराह ने विकेट लिया, सिराज ने लिया, आकाशदीप ने लिया, हमने 89 for 7 कर दिया था. हम वो चीज़ दोबारा कर सकते हैं, बट अकेले एक प्लेयर के उससे नहीं होगा. यू हैव टू कंट्रीब्यूट. And अगर आप कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे then obviously you can make a comeback in this match, not just in the match, in the series as well, because a lot are at stake. तो ये players भी जानते हैं, and they should come up into
yeah.
the second session with the mindset कि अब ये एक नया सेशन है, let's make a new start, let's not think about कि पहले सेशन में क्या हुआ है. It will only help the Indian team and the Indian players.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, fair enough, fair enough. It's too soon. We have quite a few comments with us. People are talking about different topics. अब तक जो हुआ है, we'll take all the comments. Sports fan Bailey had said they wanted to throw something different at India. Didn't know they will really do that. What a fearless debut by Konstas. Absolutely, कुछ बहुत ही out of syllabus आ गया है लगता है इंडिया के लिए, because they had no answers for Sam until Jadeja took his wicket. He batted brilliantly. Ujjwal Maurya is saying, why was Akash Deep introduced so late? Exactly, Ujjwal. I think we discussed this. We should have started with Bumrah and Akash Deep over Siraj. सिराज तो प्लेइंग 11 स्क्वाड में ही वो जगह डाउटफुल है. अगर खेल रहे हैं तो शुरू क्यों कर रहे हैं, नई बॉल से आकाशदीप होने चाहिए थे. फुली एग्री विद यू. ऋषिकेश सिंह, वी कांट डिफेंड कोहली दिस टाइम. Exactly, there are a lot of Virat Kohli fans apparently on social media who are agreeing to this, who are saying that this is something we can't defend. This was uncalled for. Ujjwal, again, I'm all for being aggressive, but that was childish from Virat Kohli, barging shoulders with the young debutant. Exactly, we have discussed this. Ujjwal, sports fan. Jamie, what do you make of 11 going in with 3 all-rounders instead of specialist batters at 6? Jamie, 3 all-rounders instead of specialist batter. All-rounder Nitish Kumar Reddy को तो मैं गिन ही नहीं रहा, ओवर ही नहीं दे रहे उसको.
Well, this is exactly what we discussed yesterday on the show. When you asked me, some reports are saying Rohit Sharma is going to open. Um, and like I said, if Shubman Gill is not playing at number 3, I personally don't want Shubman Gill batting at number 6 because he's not batted there. So I said, if Shubman Gill is not at number 3, then you have to play the all-rounder. They don't have a specialist in number 6. The man, I'm going to say this to all the Indian cricket fans watching this show, KL Rahul was recalled after 5 months, 6 months as your number 6. But what happened against Bangladesh, what happened against New Zealand, when wickets fell, you suddenly realized, no, let's not bat him. So they shuffled it around. Then you go to Australia and he opens. So when you've taken your specialist number 6, when you made him open again, when you've tried Rohit Sharma for 2 matches, when he's a walking wicket, when you don't have a number 6, and let's face it, yes, you have Sarfaraz, but Sarfaraz was never, we've all said Sarfaraz is not going to play a single test match. So when you don't have an all-rounder, you've already messed up in your planning, in your pre-departure selection. So when you don't have a number 6, when one number 6 is opening, when your experimental number 6 is now opening again, you have no option but to play the all-rounder, So I'm not surprised. Is it the right way to go? No, because 3 all-rounders, a little strange, but again, like Harshit said, let's not get too carried away. बहुत time बचता है इस test match में. If the second session goes the way the first session went, then perhaps we can start saying, yeah, it's. But right now, yes, a bad session, but not all doom and gloom yet.
Yeah, hopefully not all doom and gloom. Vian Singh is saying Jurel was our best batter at 6 against England, but sadly young talents are being sacrificed for oldies. This is what Vian believes. Vian is also saying, JB, that's what I was talking about, Boland, that you need to attack. My question was answered by Konstas batting. JB, do you think इस pitch पे क्योंकि very batting friendly as compared to the first 3 test matches जो tracks हमें देखने को मिले हैं, someone like Rohit Sharma who is out of form can rather play this sort of a cricket what Sam played. He is good in white ball cricket, हालांकि ball अलग है. Can he play his aggressive cricket instead of just buying time on the crease?
No, so I understand exactly what Vian Singh is saying, but the question will only be answered because the question yesterday was asked about India's batsmen. And I'll say it again. Rishabh Pant ko chhod ke, on current form, on temperament with the series so so delicately poised, I don't see a single Indian batsman doing what what Sam Konstas did for two reasons. One, they're not in that mindset. They have baggage. This guy has baggage. And I'll say again, if Jaiswal starts to do that and he gets caught a third slip or a third man, we're all going to do shows on ye kya bahiyat shot tha, right? So yes, hats off to any player who can do that. But beyond Singh, barring Rishabh Pant, who again bats at number 4 or 5, actually, I don't see any. If Rohit Sharma tries that and gets out, every single person who will again say isko drop karo. So I like Sam Konstas. We've discussed for half an hour what he did, but is there a single Indian player in the top 4 who can do that? Absolutely not.
Absolutely. The match has started. We have one last comment before we end this slide. Sports Rumble is saying, Sena country is Rahul opener, subcontinent middle order. Do not think about taking for granted, but more so he's an asset who can bat anywhere in top 6. Having a settled position always good. Absolutely. वो सेना कंट्री का ओपनर वाला रहा नहीं है, अब नंबर 3 पे आ गए हैं, तो वो भी फिक्स नहीं है. ये इशू है केएल राहुल की हैंडलिंग के साथ. But the match has started. Australia 112 at the loss of 1 wicket. Akash Deep thankfully has started the over. He is starting and hopefully Jasprit Bumrah होंगे दूसरे एंड से. We'll have to wait and see. Indian fans will be hoping कि ये सेशन उनके नाम हो और कुछ अच्छा देखने को मिले. सुबह का उठने काम नहीं आया क्योंकि पहला सेशन इतना अच्छा था नहीं. Hopefully India will make a comeback. Jasprit Bumrah will make a comeback in this session. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much, Harshit, for connecting with us. We'll see you after the day ends at the Stumps Live and we'll talk about whatever happens in the next 2 sessions. Until then, do take care of yourself and have a nice day.